There comes a moment in life when you realize the real enemy isn't your past, your pain, or your circumstances. It's the version of you that refuses to change. If you don't transform your life now, life will transform you, and not in the way you want. Most people wait for the right time to change, but the truth is, the right time never comes. You create it. Stay with me till the end, because what you're about to hear may become the decision that separates the life you have from the life you truly deserve. Your life won't change tomorrow. It changes the moment you decide you're done living the same story. This truth is so powerful that most people never fully understand it. They wait for the calendar to flip, for motivation to magically appear, for the world to give them a sign that the time is finally right. But life doesn't change by accident, and it doesn't transform just because you wish it would. Real change begins the instant you look at yourself with total honesty and admit that the life you're living no longer matches the life you're meant for. That single moment of clarity becomes the spark that ignites everything that follows. A single decision can rewrite an entire future, but most people delay that decision forever. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow. They say they need more time, more energy, or more confidence. They convince themselves that they're not ready, not strong enough, or not deserving. But the truth is, tomorrow is just a mask for fear. Tomorrow is how people hide from their potential. Tomorrow is the excuse that keeps dreams buried and lives unchanged. And because they keep waiting, their lives remain exactly the same, month after month, year after year, as if they were stuck in a loop they can't escape. The reality is that you don't need more time, you need more courage. You don't need perfect conditions, you need a decision. You don't need to know the entire path, you just need to take the first step. The moment you say, I am done living this way, everything shifts. Your thoughts change. Your energy rises. Your identity begins to upgrade. That one decision becomes the foundation for new habits, new standards, and new results. It becomes the turning point where your old life ends and your new life begins. Think about all the times you promised yourself you would change, the nights you felt frustrated with yourself, the mornings you woke up tired of your own patterns, the moments life pushed you so hard you swore it would be different next time. Yet nothing changed. Why? Because without a real decision, emotions fade. Motivation fades, inspiration fades. But a decision, a powerful, final, non-negotiable decision that stays. It anchors your actions. It rewrites your identity, and it pushes you forward even on the days you don't feel like moving. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're undecided. They keep one foot in the old life and one foot in the new, hoping somehow things will improve without them fully committing. But life doesn't reward half commitment. Life rewards those who say, this is who I am now, and then act like it repeatedly. The universe moves for people who move. Doors open for people who walk. And opportunities multiply for those who refuse to stay where they are. In every powerful transformation story, there is always a moment, a breaking point, a realization, a decision where someone says, I can't keep living this version of myself. And from that moment, everything changes. Not instantly, not magically, but consistently. Progress begins to show up. Confidence begins to grow. Life starts aligning with the new identity that decision created. That is the power people underestimate. The power of deciding. The life you want isn't waiting for the perfect day. It's waiting for your decision. The stronger your decision, the faster your transformation. Your future is shaped not by your past, not by your circumstances, not by your doubts, but by the moment you decide you are done repeating the same story. When that moment comes, the old patterns lose their power, the old excuses lose their voice, and the old version of you finally steps aside for the person you were meant to become. So if you want tomorrow to look different, change today. If you want your future to expand your courage right now. Everything you dream of begins with one choice. The choice to stop waiting and start becoming. And that choice is yours to make, not someday, not later, not eventually, but now. Nothing changes until you change. Your habits, your mindset, your circle, your standards. People often think life shifts on its own, that success arrives by luck or fate, that transformation appears suddenly like a miracle. But nothing could be further from the truth. Your life is always a reflection of who you are on the inside. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your mindset is negative, your path will be heavy. If your circle drains you, your growth will slow. If your standards are low, your life will stay low. Change doesn't begin outside of you, it begins within you. And the moment you change even one part of yourself, your entire life begins to follow. Think about your habits. They are silent architects building your future brick by brick. Every day, the things you repeatedly do shape your identity more than your intentions ever will. People say they want freedom, success, discipline, and peace, yet their habits contradict their desires. They stay up late, scrolling, wasting time, avoiding the tasks that could change their life. They choose comfort over progress, entertainment over growth, excuses over responsibility, and then they wonder why nothing changes. But the truth is simple. Your habits are either training you for your destiny or trapping you in your history. Your mindset matters even more. What you believe about yourself becomes your reality. If you walk through life thinking small, you will live small. If you see every challenge as a threat, you will stay fearful. If you constantly doubt your potential, you will never rise to meet it. But when you shift your mindset, when you start thinking in terms of possibilities instead of limitations, your entire world begins to expand. Confidence doesn't appear out of nowhere. It grows from the thoughts you feed it every day. Strength is not something you find, it's something you build inside your own mind. Then comes your circle. The people around you influence you more than you realize. Some people inspire your growth, while others suffocate it. Some sharpen your ambition, while others dull your spirit. You cannot surround yourself with small minds and expect big results. You cannot stay with people who complain, sabotage, or settle and expect yourself to rise. Your circle is the environment your potential breathes in. If the environment is toxic, your potential suffocates. When you choose to distance yourself from negativity and walk with people who uplift, challenge, and encourage you, you instantly accelerate your evolution. But perhaps the most crucial element is your standards. Your standards determine what you tolerate, what you accept, what you allow into your life. Low standards create a life of disappointment, inconsistency, and chaos. High standards create structure, clarity, and direction. When you raise your standards, when you decide that certain behaviors, excuses, and habits are no longer acceptable, your life must elevate to match them. Your standards are the invisible boundaries that protect your growth and define your identity. Transformation isn't magic. It's a daily choice repeated until it becomes your identity. Change doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happens quietly in the decisions you make every single day. The decision to wake up earlier, the decision to work on your goals instead of wasting time, the decision to let go of toxic people, the decision to believe in yourself even when life challenges you. These choices accumulate, they compound, they gather momentum, and eventually they turn into a new version of you. The person you want to become is built through repetition, not motivation. Discipline creates the identity you dream of. Consistency shapes the future you desire. And commitment to the process is what transforms your reality. When you change your habits, your results change. When you change your mindset, your direction changes. When you change your circle, your energy changes. When you change your standards, your destiny changes. And when you change yourself, everything else follows. Your excuses are the only prison you live in. The moment you drop them, you walk free. Life isn't holding you back. Circumstances aren't holding you back. Other people are not holding you back. What truly keeps you stuck are the stories you keep telling yourself about why you can't change, why you can't start, why you can't grow, why you can't become the person you know you're capable of becoming. Excuses feel comfortable because they shift responsibility away from you. They allow you to say, "It's not my fault," and for a moment that feels safe. But that temporary comfort traps you in the same patterns day after day. Excuses create walls around your potential. And the more you use them, the thicker those walls become. The tragic thing is that most people never realize they're imprisoning themselves with their own words. Every excuse protects your comfort zone, and your comfort zone is the silent killer of potential. It feels good to stay where it's familiar. It feels safe to stay where nothing threatens your ego. Comfort tricks you into believing you're okay, even when deep down you know you're living far beneath your true capacity. Comfort whispers lies like, "You're tired. Do it tomorrow. It's not the right time. You're not ready." And because those lies feel warm, easy, and effortless, you accept them. But comfort never builds greatness. Comfort never creates transformation. Comfort never unlocks new possibilities. Everything you want, growth, discipline, confidence, success, lives outside the borders of your comfort zone. Excuses and the comfort zone work together like a perfect trap. One tells you a lie, and the other rewards you for believing it. You say, "I don't have time," and your comfort zone gives you relief because now you don't have to stretch yourself. You say, I don't know where to start, and your comfort zone gives you an easy escape because now you don't have to try. You say, I failed before, and your comfort zone makes you feel protected because you don't have to face the possibility of failing again. But every time you choose comfort, you sacrifice progress. Every excuse you make steals a piece of your future. The moment you drop your excuses, you walk free because you finally take back ownership of your life. Responsibility is the key to unlocking any kind of transformation. When you stop blaming circumstances and start looking at your choices, you become powerful. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you always control how you respond. And that response determines your destiny. People who transform their lives aren't lucky. They're honest. They admit when they're procrastinating. They admit when they're avoiding discomfort. They admit when they're sabotaging themselves. And because they're honest, they can change. Excuses may feel comforting, but they are incredibly expensive. They cost you dreams you never chase. They cost you skills you never develop. They cost you relationships you never build. They cost you goals you never achieve. They cost you a life you never live. The price of excuses is regret, and regret is one of the heaviest burdens a human being can carry. But the good news is that letting go of excuses is easier than people think. It begins with one simple decision: I am responsible for my life. Once you take ownership, excuses lose their power. They crumble, and what's left is possibility. When you stop making excuses, you stop living small. You begin stepping into the unknown. You begin challenging yourself. You begin discovering strengths you didn't know you had. Freedom is not found in comfort, it's found in growth. And growth begins the moment you step out of the mental prison you built with excuses. Your potential has been waiting for you the entire time. The doors of the prison were never locked. All you have to do is walk out. If you don't take control of your life, life will control you. That's not just a motivational line, it's the absolute truth of how human existence works. Life is always moving, shaping, pushing, and influencing you, whether you participate in the process or not. If you don't step into the driver's seat, life will put you in the passenger seat and take you places you never wanted to go. It will push you into routines you didn't choose, habits you never intended to build, relationships that drain you, environments that limit you, and patterns that repeat year after year. When you don't take control, life becomes something that happens to you instead of something you actively create. You can design your future or be dragged by your past. The choice happens today. Every day you live without direction, you unconsciously carry your past into your present. Your old wounds become your new decision. Your old failures become your new fears. Your old environment becomes your new limitation. Most people don't even realize that the reason their life feels repetitive is because they are operating from the same mindset, the same insecurities, the same habits, and the same unresolved emotions that shape their past. And because they haven't taken control, the past keeps pulling them like a heavy chain. Taking control doesn't mean controlling everything around you. It means controlling what's inside you. It means mastering your reactions, your discipline, your focus, your choices, and your direction. Life will always challenge you, throw obstacles in your path, and test your patience. But the person who has control over their responses will always rise above circumstances. The person who lacks control will be tossed around by emotions, other people's opinions, and temporary situations. Life is not neutral. If you don't intentionally build, life will naturally erode. If you don't intentionally grow, life will naturally distract. If you don't intentionally strengthen yourself, life will naturally weaken your discipline. Without conscious effort, you fall into patterns that feel safe but slowly destroy your future. The days blend together, the goals stay untouched, and the years pass quietly while your dreams sit in the background waiting for you to claim them. Control is not about perfection, it's about direction. It's about choosing where you want your life to go instead of drifting toward wherever your habits lead you. When you take control, you stop letting old stories dictate your new possibilities. You stop letting fear decide your progress. You stop letting other people's opinions shape your identity. You start building yourself intentionally, one choice, one habit, one decision at a time. The moment you decide to take control, everything shifts. You raise your standards. You create boundaries. You say no to distractions. You protect your energy. You choose environments that support your growth. You create habits that align with your goals. And slowly, your life begins to reflect a new version of you, the version you always knew you could become but never stepped into. But here's the painful truth. Most people never choose this path. They stay stuck, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they let life pull them instead of positioning themselves to lead. They let fear paralyze them, comfort seduce them, and distractions consume them. They avoid taking responsibility because responsibility requires courage, and courage requires effort. You have two choices, design or drift. If you design, you become the architect of your destiny. If you drift, you become a victim of your past and a slave to your circumstances. The difference between an average life and an extraordinary one begins with a single decision, the decision to take control right now, today, not next week, not when things settle down, not when you feel ready. Change demands discomfort, but the pain of staying the same is far worse. Every transformation in life begins with a moment of friction, a moment where you choose to step into something unfamiliar, uncertain, and uncomfortable. Your brain is wired to resist this because it wants predictability, it wants safety, it wants the known. But the known is exactly what has kept you stuck for so long. The routines you repeat, the habits you cling to, the thoughts you replay endlessly, they create a cage that feels familiar but prevents you from ever becoming who you're meant to be. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your invitation. It's the signal that you're stepping into new territory, stretching your limits, and building a version of yourself that didn't exist before. Growth hurts, but regret destroys. You can avoid discomfort today, but you can't avoid the consequences of avoiding it. When you choose comfort over change, you're choosing to remain in a life that doesn't challenge you, doesn't excite you, doesn't reflect your potential. In the moment, comfort feels pleasant. It feels like relief. It feels like ease. But what it leaves behind is stagnation, and stagnation turns into frustration, bitterness, and disappointment. These emotions slowly build into regret, a pain much heavier than anything discomfort could ever cause. Regret is the voice that whispers, "You could have been more. You could have done more. You could have lived differently." And once regret settles in, it's not just painful, it's permanent. Every meaningful transformation in life comes with a price, and the price is discomfort. Discomfort means waking up earlier when your mind begs you to stay in bed. Discomfort means saying no to old habits that have kept you weak. Discomfort means separating yourself from people who no longer align with your future. Discomfort means facing the truth about yourself instead of hiding behind excuses. Discomfort means breaking patterns that feel safe but destroy your potential. But every one of these sacrifices leads to something better: strength, clarity, discipline, confidence, and direction. You have to understand that growth is never supposed to feel easy. Muscles only grow when they are stretched and torn. Minds only expand when they are challenged. Lives only change when they are disrupted. The people who succeed are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They are the ones who embrace it, who recognize it as the bridge between who they are and who they want to become. They understand that temporary discomfort leads to long-term transformation. The pain of staying the same, however, is quiet, deceptive, and deadly. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It doesn't explode, it slowly suffocates you. Staying the same leads to waking up with the same frustrations year after year. It leads to feeling stuck, lost, and unfulfilled. It leads to wondering why nothing in your life is changing while you continue repeating the same choices. It leads to a life where your dreams fade, your potential collapses, and your confidence disappears. The pain of staying the same is the slow erosion of everything you could have been. You must choose your pain, the pain of growth or the pain of regret. The pain of growth is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Growth gives you something back. It gives you progress. It gives you pride. It gives you proof that you're becoming stronger. Regret gives you nothing but the burden of knowing you didn't try. When you choose the pain that builds you, you're choosing a future that is bigger than your fears. You're choosing to evolve instead of staying trapped in who you used to be. You don't need to feel ready to choose discomfort. You just need to feel tired of staying the same. The moment you choose discomfort, your transformation begins. The moment you step into growth, your future expands. And the moment you stop running from the difficult things, you become unstoppable. Change may demand discomfort, but discomfort is the doorway to the life you truly want. Choose it, embrace it. Let it build you into the strongest version of yourself. Your life begins the moment you stop waiting for permission. Most people never realize how much of their life is spent waiting for approval, waiting for validation, waiting for the right moment. waiting for someone to tell them they're capable, worthy, or ready. But the truth is brutally simple. No one is going to grant you the life you dream about. No one is coming to hand you confidence, discipline, direction, or purpose. As long as you wait for someone else to confirm your potential, you'll stay stuck in the same place, living the same story, repeating the same excuses. Life doesn't begin when others recognize your worth. Life begins when you recognize it. No one is coming to save you. No sign, no miracle, no perfect timing. You are the turning point. People waste years hoping that one day the universe will send a clear signal, a dramatic event, a stroke of luck that finally pushes them into action. But the universe isn't withholding anything. The signs are already around you. Your frustration is a sign. Your dissatisfaction is a sign. Your desire for more is a sign. Your dreams that won't die are a sign. The problem is not the absence of signs. It's the absence of action. Waiting for a miracle is how potential rots. Waiting for perfect timing is how years slip away unnoticed. The truth is, there is no perfect time to start. There is only now, and now is enough. You are the turning point because your life is built from your decisions, not your wishes. Every step you take toward growth is a brick placed in the foundation of your future. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction, you are shaping a stronger version of yourself. Every time you silence your fears and move anyway, you are breaking the chains of doubt that held you back for so long. You don't need permission to change, evolve, or reinvent yourself. You just need courage. The courage to start before you're ready. The courage to believe in yourself before there is proof. The courage to step into the unknown without waiting for someone to guide you. People stay stuck because they've convinced themselves that they need something external before taking action. They think they need confidence before they start, clarity before they move, support before they try. But confidence is built through action. Clarity comes from movement. Support appears after you begin. Everything you're waiting for actually appears after you take the first step, not before. The life you want will meet you halfway, but only after you start walking. When you stop waiting for permission, everything changes. You begin making choices based on your future, not your fears. You stop apologizing for your goals, your ambition, your hunger for more. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop explaining yourself to people who have no intention of understanding. You stop letting the opinions of others define your destiny. You start acting like the writer of your own story, not a background character in someone else's. The moment you take ownership, real ownership, your power returns. You become the person who creates momentum instead of waiting for motivation. You become the person who builds opportunities instead of hoping for luck. You become the person who leads, not follows. You become the person who rises instead of repeats. This is the turning point. When you stop waiting for someone to choose you and finally choose yourself, your new life won't begin next week, next year, or on the day everything feels perfect. It begins the moment you decide that you don't need permission to grow. You don't need permission to want more. You don't need permission to break cycles, set boundaries, chase dreams, or reinvent yourself completely. Everything comes down to one truth. Your life will only change when you decide to change it. Not tomorrow, not when conditions become perfect, not when fear disappears, but the moment you rise above your excuses, challenge your comfort, and take control of your own story. You are not stuck because life is unfair. You are stuck because you've been repeating the same choices, living the same story, and believing the same limitations for far too long. But today that cycle breaks. You now understand that nothing changes until you change. Your habits shape your destiny. Your mindset builds your reality. Your circle influences your direction, and your standards determine your future. You've seen how excuses imprison you, how comfort suffocates your potential, and how waiting for permission steals years of your life. You've learned that discomfort is the price of growth, and that the pain of staying the same is far more destructive than any temporary struggle you'll face on the path to improvement. This is your turning point. From this moment forward, you are no longer a victim of your past. You are the designer of your future. You are no longer waiting for a sign. You are becoming the sign. You are no longer hoping for change. You are choosing it. You are no longer accepting the life handed to you. You are building the life you were meant to live. So walk out of this moment with a decision so powerful, it makes your old life impossible to return to. Raise your standards, break your patterns, step into the identity you've been avoiding. Choose the discomfort that builds you instead of the comfort that destroys you. Because your new beginning doesn't start next year, next week, or someday. Your new beginning starts now.